tell you a story about the Dragon Lady, and she controlled China for 48 years until the late Qing dynasty. And today I'm in the Summer Palace, and I have a good view right here. The story, the book was written by a Japanese writer. Originally it was in Japanese, but my book was a Chinese version, and I will oral translate, interpret it to English, so I can share those stories with you. So Dragon Lady, we call her Empress Dowager Cixi. She was used to be a concubine, and later she became the Empress Dowager. And if you watch the movie Last Emperor, she was the old ugly lady in the beginning of the movie and put the last emperor Puyi on the throne. So she was a very controversial figure in China. And today a lot of people criticize, condemn about her because she made a mess of China in the Qing dynasty, the end of the Qing. Because she's a tough cookie, and but she have a good taste. As a woman, she is, how can I say, she's a smart woman. But this book is from an angle of a foreigner, a Japanese journalist. So I'm gonna share the story with you. So in the preface, it said the Qing Empire, it covers the area of 430 square miles and conquered one of the 20th land in the world. It got a population of 400 million Chinese, and that account 1/4 of the population in the world, and including Manchurian, Han, Mongolians. And the religion covers Taoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism. From which angle it looks, it is a big country, it's a great country, and make a unity of this country is extremely hard. But the Western Empress, the Dragon Lady, she was the heroine of the woman, and she controlled China for 46 years until she was 74 years old, and she's still powerful and controlled 400 states in one person, and you have to say she is a great lady. Okay, so this is a preface, but it's from a Japanese angle of a Chinese ruler, a Manchurian. So those days, China have 400 million people, and it's a big country. Even like today, we have 1.4 billion people. It's really hard to control and unite. So she was a tough cookie. And when she was born, that's almost the end of the Qing Empire. When she would enter the royal palace in the Forbidden City, and she was very humble. And as her husband passed away in 27 years old. That was 1861, because the Second Opium War and the Anglo-French forces invade Tianjin, Beijing, and they occupied Beijing. The Emperor and Dragon Lady, they fled away to another summer resort in north. So 1 year later, 1861, and her husband, the Emperor, died in that resort, and she there's a coup, okay? And I continue. And when she was 40 years old, her only son, died. And there's also a lot of story or scandal rumors about her son's death, and later there's a rebellion. That is some Chinese Han people, they against the ruling of the Manchurian, they want to rebel. And later in the 1889, that is the reform revolution, but it failed. And later there's the Boxers' Rebellion. That was 1900. So this garden was really bad luck. The Summer Palace was burned twice. 1860 was burned down by Anglo-French forces, and in 1900 by the 8th Allied forces. So even the Dragon Lady was controversial, but you have to say the Summer Palace is her legacy. So if she's a regular woman and she may be just run away and leave things alone, but when China is weakening and she made a power behind the screen and try to mediate the conflict and unite China and make the reform and train the military forces and take back the power. And later, they prepared for the democracy. Yeah, a monarchy. Yeah. So when the Qing Empire was trembling, and she tried to make the country sober, and waiting for the sun rise again. So she was very tough, and that was really rare in history. So in the history of China, we have two female rulers. One was Wu Zetian, over 1,300 years ago. She proclaimed herself as an emperor, female emperor. But Dragon Lady, she made a power behind screen. That was she asked her son, later her nephew, sit on the throne, and she and another empress sit behind her son, and there's a curtain between them, and so she will tell the emperor what to say and what to do, and we call it power behind screen. Yeah. So in this world, the fate of the Qing Empire was unpredictable. From the recent history, the people of China in the Qing Empire have three changes. At first, they were like a sleeping elephant. It's a giant animal. And after the Sino-Japanese War, and they will regret. I feel China was very weak, and so today, China was like a weakening line. At the same time, people criticize about the Dragon Lady have three changes. In the beginning, they think she was a very cruel lady, and later, they think she was a very stubborn old woman, and at last, they said she was an open-minded ruler. Maybe this Japanese author is have the Chinese saying we say is case eyes. So in the beginning of the book, you can find that this is even this is from a foreigner, a Japanese view of the Chinese ruler, but still have the case of eyes. And it continues said, all the people think the Qing Empire is ridiculous, and they misunderstood her. As the American counselor Charles Denby Jr., he used to say, Dragon Lady was one of the greatest ruler in the world, And even the Qing Empire was collapsing, and she tried to manage the China with the foreign countries and make China keep going under the shoulder of this lady. And it said that this comment is very accurate. But being as a Chinese, we think those days China was really weak, and the government is really corrupted. So it's really flattering to say she is a great ruler. And the China and the Japanese have a very close distance, and also it's like a relationship of lip and teeth, and also share the same character. Some characters are the same, and also have a friendship. Used to be Japan is a country pay tribute to China, and so it's necessary to keep a close relationship between two countries. It's not don't even mention that. And to the diplomat meaning is about the same. Compared to the Japanese, we should research more of the Qing Empire and to understand each other more and to promote the bilateral relations. And it's a pity and people don't care about it. So the author tried to make a biography for Dragon Lady, and as a research for the Qing Empire from another angle. And this book described our 50 years history in the Qing dynasty, from conquer the rebellion until they prepare for the monarchy. And they compile, they weave the stories and focused on Dragon Lady, but it's not limited to her character, behavior, and also have some stories about the Manchurian royal family and outside the court, a change of age. But the author is limited, so sometimes it's not very accurate, and also some of the stories I just heard of it. But for Dragon Lady's achievement, this small brochure is hard to describe, and later they will add more. And the book was written in 41 year of Mingzhi, this Japanese emperor's reign title. It's in 1908 September. Okay. Talk about the Dragon Lady. We don't need to mention about more. She was the supreme ruler of the Qing Empire, and a female politician cannot compare the before or after. No one would know about it. No one would know. Everyone know about her. Since 1862 until today, that was 1908. She controlled China for 46 years, and she was 74 years old. And she controlled the court in Beijing and settled the dispute between the Han and the Manchurian officials, and also the conflict between the old and the new. She used her wisdom and her own tough way, and even some men was afraid of her. In the history of China, no one could be compared with Dragon Lady. and they mentioned a few Chinese female rulers. And also in the Western world, there's a queen of the Russia, Catherine, and Hungarian Bosnia Queen Mary Teresa, and British Queen Elizabeth and Victoria. And what kind of person she was, and people talk a lot, but it's hard to tell. Some people say she was cruel and she killed another empress dowager and her son, and even the two high-ranking officials of Manchuria. And she killed one eunuch, and he proposed. He criticized about her, and also she put the emperor in prison for 10 years. And also she had a luxurious life. She don't care about the financial trouble, and she still built this summer palace right here in this Namei mountain. And she had the most valuable treasures in the world, and she had a favorite eunuch, and they even had some rumors said they have some children, but that was rumors. And it's no doubt about it, she was last 50 years the most successful woman in China. Maybe she had some shortcomings, but she was born to be smart and very knowledgeable and very talented, and know about Chinese literature and calligraphy, painting, even chess. When China was in a catastrophic period of time, she can still be the soul, the backbone of China. And also she was a great lady. Even she has some shortcomings and some mistakes she made cannot be covered, and a lot of things was people make up about her. So you never know the truth, because even Chinese we don't know about her. And what about the Japanese journalist? And it's said in the book there's only few materials reveal her character and her behavior. So in the Qing dynasty, because it's illegal to publish some materials about the royal family, so there's no record about her. But the Japanese was keep looking, researching this question, and recently some of the book about China was published, but it was only about business and not about the other more deep dive stuff. The last year, that was in 1907, Okisaka, Japanese city, Okisaka Daily News made a title is called Qi Taihou, Western Empress Dowager, the Strike Lady. And there's a column, have 30 pieces story about her. But unfortunately, and it's only about her daily life and her hobby and some legendary record, and not about her experience. And also there's media called the Pacific also published some of her story, but that was only her misbehavior, bad things about her. And it's sad, just like people criticize about Queen Victoria, it doesn't matter. And so another Japanese, he wrote a book published in Japan, and it's not based on real history. So as a the people love the Chinese history, and so he paid more attention to this, and also he made some investigation and fraud about her. In 1907, so last year, in Shanghai, there's a German newspaper. I don't know how to pronounce German. Der Ostsee Lloyd published the Dragon Lady article, and it's not very detailed and not very interesting. And also, some people wrote a book. It's China and Chinese, and another guy, he wrote a book, 33 years in East Asia. There's some stuff mentioned about the Dragon Lady, but about this book, they try to discover more about the Dragon Lady. Okay, this is a Japanese book translated to Chinese, and I also translate to English, so I hope you like it. And the first chapter is about the birth of a Dragon Lady. About the birth of Dragon Lady, there's a different kind of rumors. It doesn't matter which kind. She was Manchurian. In China, we have some stories that she was a daughter of a Chinese Han official, but no way. She was a Manchurian for sure. And because Manchurian also have a different kind of hierarchy and levels. But in that book, Dragon Lady, it is said somewhere in China, there's a Manchurian official, like a Man Da Ren. Like today you see Mandarin, learn Mandarin, that was Man Da Ren. Yeah. So her surname is Na La, and that was Dragon Lady's father. And because he made a mistake, so he was punished by the government, and all her family belongings was taken by the government. So later, that family, they took her, the Dragon Lady. She had a daughter. She had a sister. They took her all the way to Canton, east of Canton, Guangdong. But the family was become poorer and poorer, and had a really bad. They're poor, so there's no choice. She sold her to other people. People bought her was a rich merchant family in Guangdong, and they found her was pretty talented, and educated her, and she was smart, the Dragon Lady. But I think this book is bullshit. It's really bullshit. Sometimes we never know the truth of the history. Okay. And from this record, Dragon Lady's father was a low-ranking, tiny official, Manchurian official. When their family was bad, they moved to Canton. And when she was 4 years old, she was sold to a rich guy. Every Manchurian, they have them government subsidized. They were supported by the Qing Empire. So there's no way in those days to sell them. I mean, if for Han people, it's possible to sell the girls, but for Manchurian, the government will take care of them. And so it decided Dragon Lady, she for sure was from the family of a Manchurian noble. Yeah. And the Qing dynasty, the army was consist of 8 banners, and there were Manchurians and Mongolians, and also Han, and also Uyghurs. So the 8 banners, especially the Manchurian banners, is very similar to the Japanese cavalry. And those days they were not so powerful, but there used to be fight against the Ming dynasty. They were very brave. Manchurians were just like Mongolians. They used to be very, very brave. So they conquered a lot of space. But later, when they become a ruler, and they were spoiled. and also like Mongolians. Later, they used the religion, the Tibetan Buddhism, to like make the Mongolians be more merciful, like pray to the Buddha. They were like converted, not so fearless. So there's three kind of 8 banners, Manchurian 8 banners, and Mongolian 8 banners, and the Han 8 banners. Because before Manchurian conquered China, they also took over some Han Chinese and make them into the army. But they were different level. They also have a hierarchy between the different 8 banners of the Manchurian soldiers. So they use 8 colors to distinguish the different division of the 8 banners. They were right yellow, right white, right means whole, right red, right blue. So the main colors are yellow, white, red, and blue. And also later there's more soldiers, so there's not big enough. So they have another 4 banners. They will use colored edge circle around it. So there's another fringed yellow, fringed white, fringed red, and fringed blue. Because the Manchurian, they were like the Spartans. They were born to be soldiers. So the government take care of you if you're a boy, and you join the army and ride the horse and shoot arrows, and you don't need to do business. You don't need to think about it to make a living because you're born to be a soldier. So that's the reason why in 1911, when Qing Empire collapsed, when we entered the Republic of China, the Manchurian don't have any income, so they have to learn some skills to make a living. So in the white banners, they had also different levels of the different colors have different levels of the soldiers. So in the yellow banners, there's one family. Their surnames Ye He Na La. That is Dragon Lady's surname. And in the middle of the Dao Guang's reign, that was about 1840. Yeah. And there's one man, his name is Hui Zheng. That is Dragon Lady's father. And she was knowledgeable, and she was noble, and she was a military official and middle level. And the Dragon Lady was born in this kind of a family, and you can see this picture. Okay. And this portrait of Dragon Lady, that was a foreigner painted. And so she was born in a noble family, not a common Manchurian family. And the Qing Empire was extremely emphasized on hierarchy. All the dynasty in China was emphasized on hierarchy, even today. Yeah. So if a Dragon Lady was from a low family, it was not possible for her to become a concubine. And that is true. But it said every Manchurian girl had an equal opportunity. It's because being empress or concubine is not as good as you think. It's like today, you think, oh, you'll become a movie star, celebrity, or YouTuber. It's not good. It's not that as good as you think. So some of the royal family, some of the Manchurian family don't want the girl to become a concubine of the emperor, because when you enter the Forbidden City, you never go home. You are enter a prison. So some of the Manchurian, they try to get their daughter married before the emperor chooses a concubine. Okay. So she was a middle-level Manchurian family, and this said in this book said they don't know how many brothers and siblings Dragon Lady has. Dragon Lady had one sister, and she had one brother. Yeah, one brother and one sister, but she's so mean to her siblings. Okay, and one of her sisters married a prince of the emperor, a prince of the family. She became a wife of a prince, and later her son became an emperor because she arranged the marriage. She's so powerful, she can manage everything. So, and he said, there's no way she was sold to a businessman from Canton. And it is said in 1834, November 17th, she was born in that day. And when she was born, she was destined to be the mother of the Qing Empire in China. And this is the Japanese author. It's really kissed eyes. And she was a beautiful, pretty little girl, baby girl, and very smart. And when she was 16 or 17 years old, she entered the Forbidden City, become a concubine. That's true. And there's no record about her childhood, and not very detailed information about her life before she became a concubine. And but she grew up with her sister. Okay, and chapter 2, that was Dragon Lady entered the court. That was in 1850, 10 years before Second Opium War. That was this garden, Summer Palace, was burned down by Anglo-French forces. She was educated in her family, in her house, until she was 17 years old, and she was like a blossom of a flower, and in a Chinese slang described, and she had a face of a peony flower and have a figure body of a weeping willow, and very elegant. That could be true, otherwise the emperor would not choose her as a concubine. And even you look at her one side, and you will become soulless. Chinese said, I don't know if in English they have the word called soulless, your soul going out. And this little girl could control her life, control her fate. And she was chosen as a candidate of a concubine and entered the Forbidden City. And when she was 17 years old, she was just a common concubine, because even for concubines, they have many levels. She was a middle-level concubine. But as other concubines in the court, they have 6 levels of the concubine. So different level have a different treatment. So if one kind of concubine passed away, not missing, and other concubine would get promoted. If the empress passed away, and they will choose the prime concubine, choose one, become empress. So when she entered the court, she was eligible and qualified, but that was only limited to Manchurian girls, because of the Manchurian emperor, they want to keep the blood pure of the blood. They only marry the Mongolians and the Manchurian. So that means they use marriage to control Mongolia, because the early generation of the emperor of the Manchuria, they married, all the empress was Mongolians. So Mongolians, Manchurian, they mix marriage. Yeah. but they never married a Han. Because we are the Han, we will be ruled by Manchurian. So even when the last emperor Puyi abdicated, when we enter Republic China, and one of the prime minister of Republic China tried to suggest her daughters marry Puyi. Puyi refused. Even when Japanese want to Puyi marry a Japanese noble, Puyi refused because they want to keep the clean of the purity of the royal blood. So the empress was the head of the court. They were from several noble families from Manchurian, and Dragon Lady, her surname is Yi He Nala Shi. They were qualified to become an empress. So when she first entered the court to become a candidate, she was middle-level concubine, and she stayed together with the empress and the empress dowager. It said all the Manchurian girls from 8 banners, they could not marry other people. I mean, also Manchurian to Manchurian, before the empress choose. Otherwise, if they marry before the emperor choose the candidate, there will be big trouble. Even the head of the banners or their parents will all be punished. So the emperor have a priority to choose a woman to marry. So the Manchurian, Mongolian, the high-ranking military officials, or even their secretary, their warriors, or even their civil officials, when their girl was 14 years old, they have to report to the government. They said their girl was eligible to be chosen as a candidate of a concubine. But when there was an age, all their relatives and they will send the girl to the Forbidden City as a candidate. Some of them may be promoted, proposed by Empress Dowager. If Empress Dowager choose like any girl, maybe they will tell the emperor. They will arrange the marriage. So it said that the Manchurian concubine candidate not only limited to their looking. So looking is not very important. If you look up the Emperor Guangxu's wife, she was ugly. And not only the looking, but also their knowledge and their talent, maybe like a talent show. So among many candidates, and it's really hard to stand out. So you can think up. Anytime it's really hard to stand out. So Dragon Lady was just a common girl from 17 to 20, and she accompanied the Empress and the Empress Dowager because she's smart and she's has ability to learn, and also she's good looking and she's charming. And okay, those words are just flatter. I will pass it. And soon, the Empress and Empress Dowager like her, and she was promoted to third level concubine, and she accompanied the emperor. She serviced to the emperor, and she was the emperor's favorite concubine. In this part, it's not very accurate because in the Qing dynasty in Manchurian, or even in the whole Chinese history, any woman, it doesn't matter you are a concubine or you are a palace, as long as you're a palace maid, you're cleaner, as long as you give a son to the emperor, you would be promoted to a concubine. The Dragon Lady became empress because she delivered only son to the emperor. So she became the second empress of the emperor. And also this painting is the Emperor Xianfeng, is Dragon Lady's husband. And besides, the Dragon Lady's life is very smooth in the court, but people in the world always misleading about her, or misunderstood about her, and they would rather believe she was a bitch from a Cantonese merchant, and she was happy to become a candidate, become the concubine, and become Empress Dowager. And in other book, it described. Okay, those Chinese are ancient Chinese. It's hard to understand, even I'm trying to learn. Okay, I'll pass that because this is old Chinese, like the Shakespeare's English. I'm not knowledgeable. I'm not able to read those Chinese and translate to English at the same time. And this side is just like a novel. It's very interesting, but it could be fabrics and makeup rumors. And in the Qing court, as choosing a concubine, this big event, they would not directly do that, because all those procedures was recorded in the history, the tradition, all the books. So there's no way for any common Han girls to marry the emperor. That's true. Okay, and this part is the birth of the crown prince, because that's the emperor's only son. So in 1850, when Dragon Lady was 70 years old, and the emperor Xianfeng was 20 years old, and he was the fourth son of the former emperor, and since the first emperor of the Manchurian, he was the ninth generation. So in 1831 August, he was born in 1831 August. In 1850 February 25th, he became the emperor. In 1861, and he died at the 30s. He was on the throne for 11 years. That was the Opium War. So when Dragon Lady first entered the Forbidden City, she was a low-ranking concubine. She was not allowed to accompany the emperor. So you understand that, huh? Service to the emperor. But as mentioned before, she was so charming, and she was so good-looking, and she was trusted by Empress and Empress Dowager, and very soon she stand out and promoted, and accompanied the emperor and become the emperor's favorite concubine. So this part, we never know the truth of the history, but this part is from common sense, it's not true. But from a movie, it was directed by a director from Hong Kong in 1980s. In the movie, she was so smart. One day they were in the Imperial Garden, and she know the emperor's coming from the other side, and she's singing. She have a beautiful song. She's singing, and the emperor heard someone singing, so he looking for who is singing so beautiful, and she know the emperor's coming, and she lit her handkerchief on the ground, and she hide away. And when the emperor arrived at the pavilion, and he found a handkerchief, and he picked it up, and he found there's an embroidered magnolia on it, and it smells so good. And the emperor, he just curious, he want to find out who is this concubine. And last, he found her, and she's so charming, and later she's pregnant, and she delivered only son to the emperor, and she was promoted to a higher level of concubine. Yeah. Okay, so when the 5th year, when Dragon Lady entered the court, that was 1855, September 5th, she delivered one boy, that's a prince. It's later the Tongzhi Emperor. And that is the only son of the emperor. And so when she gave son to the emperor, she was promoted to made a higher level of concubine. So next chapter is Dragon Lady in the court. So here is a painting of her in the court. So Dragon Lady was so spoiled by the emperor, and how about her relationship with other empress and concubines? It's like some Japanese court fight. Okay, I don't understand. And also some tragedy happened, and okay, something happened in the Japanese royal court, something bad. It's very common, but as a concubine promoted higher and higher, and she must be jealous about by other concubines. So how could she be so smart to get over it and to keep herself safe? If you stand out, you become a target of other people. It's very common. So it said that another empress dowager, other empress was quite different from her, because that emperor have two empresses, and his first wife, empress, no children, but she lived on the east of the Forbidden City, so we call her Eastern Palace Empress. Dragon Lady lived on the west in the Forbidden City. We call her Western Palace Empress Dowager, because she delivered only son to the emperor, so she was promoted to empress. And the Eastern Palace Empress was quite different from her. She loved literature. In 1881, when the emperor, that is Dragon Lady's nephew, not her son. Her son passed away. Later, she put her nephew on the throne. So in 1881, Dragon Lady's nephew passed away. I have no connection with the former part. Okay. So she, Eastern Palace Empress, had a very profound understanding of the Chinese literature, and she could write a good Manchurian. So even when the dynasty is collapsing, even in the middle of the Qing dynasty, even Manchurian could not read and write in Manchurian. So even when they learned Manchurian and Han every day, but Manchurian is really hard and a language to learn. And because Manchurian want to rule China, and they use the Confucianism, and also they use Han. So she's good at literature, and have a very good taste of making poems and painting. And she's smart. But the Eastern Palace Empress, she was good at literature, and but the Dragon Lady, she was good at manipulation. She's good at playing people. So the two empresses are in different characters. So being so long together in the inner court in the Forbidden City, they did not have some direct conflict. And inside the Dragon Lady, Western Palace Empress killed the Eastern Palace Empress. It's rumors. But according to my knowledge and also the book I wrote and also some diary of the officials, Eastern Palace Empress, she was poisoned because she was died in sudden. But in this book, it's all about case eyes of the Dragon Lady. Okay, the next chapter is 27 years old Vito, and you can see this picture is Dragon Lady's husband's tomb. That is the Emperor Xianfeng's tomb. So the 11 years when Dragon Lady entered the Forbidden City, and the Emperor Xianfeng died 1861. And since then, the 27-year-old widow become helpless. There's some romantic describing about their love between the emperor and the empress dowager. But later, when it's said they did get along, they have a very good, close, intimate relationship between the emperor and the Dragon Lady. But when the emperor died, and they were separated, and that's very unfortunate. Okay, next chapter, unfortunate Emperor Xianfeng. Emperor Xianfeng was one unlucky emperor. When he was during his 11 years on the throne, there was all kinds of turmoil, and he never had one peaceful day. After the Opium War, China became weaker and weaker, and no credit in the world community, even today. And the government, the court, was looked down by the people. And later, they have the rebellion of the long-haired bandit. And this rebellion started from 1850 until 1864, and it lasted 14 years, and 16 provinces got involved. And even that war, millions of Chinese people died. So that war is also eliminated the population. So the king of the rebellers, they started from the southeast China, Guangxi province, until they captured Nanjing city, Nanjing in South China. And later the king committed suicide, and in the 14 years, there's over 600 battles and campaigns, and a lot of interesting stories. And this some generals and princes from the rebellions, and some military officials and generals from the Qing court. But from here, you can find out later there's some generals or warriors or higher military officials. They were the Han. Because in the beginning of the Manchurian, they were very brave. But later, when they were spoiled and they cannot fight against the rebellions, so later some Han generals stand out. And also some there's one British soldier or lieutenant. His name is Gordon, and also one American, Walter. They helped the Qing court to finish the uprising. And even before the domestic uprising was finished, there's a British and French war break out. Sorry. Oh, sorry. That was 1860 Anglo-French forces. Some of the Cantonese merchants took the advantage, and they import the weapons and they import the arms and supplied it to the rebellions. So the foreigners would hate. Okay, I don't know why. In 1856, the Europeans settled down in Canton. The settlement was burned down, and this incident was peacefully under control. But not long, American warship was hit by the Chinese cannon at the bank, and later it became the waged a war, and lasted until 1860. And in October, the Anglo-French forces invaded Beijing, and the Yuanyuan Garden, that is the most beautiful garden in China or even the world, was looted and burned down by the Anglo-French forces. And the emperor and dragon lady, Empress Dowager, they fled away to north in another summer resort in Chengde. Okay, I think this is today's story, and see you next time. Bye bye.